Hello, how's everyone doing? So I'm Ed. I'm going to be your host for this evening. And today we're diving into this Ask Me Anything with Chain Guardians. We've got Dan Pope and John here also with us. And we're going to get stuck in. Dan, so first question for you. So what's the inspiration behind Chain Guardians and the kind of Phygital meta streetwear collection that we've got going alongside it? Tell us a bit more about that.
Hi, thanks for having me today, and hi John as well. I see John is just in the guest, so we might want to just add him to a speaker as well. But hi, yeah, thanks for having us. So, hi everyone. So, regarding the Chain Guardians kind of meta streetwear collection, this is kind of our digital sort of fashion line that was inspired by the Chain Guardians superheroes, right? So the Chain Guardians are a collection of NFTs that represent different characters in kind of the blockchain world, and then they're all kind of playable in Chain Guardians, our game. So the collection features a variety of these streetwear designs that are both stylish and functional. And actually, we took this collection and we put it on a runway show at New York Fashion Week last September, which was a huge success and was something we're really proud of. Actually, users were then able to get a limited edition t-shirt and bodysuit that was infused with an NFT, which they can then kind of wear in the real world IRL. Sorry to sound old, and also digitally, across the metaverse. So yeah, it's a very cool collection.
Thank you for that. It's really good how it's just got such a core inspiration by the game and the lore of the game itself, and how you managed to tie it over into so many different platforms and ideas. So there's like a boutique off the back of this, isn't there? So can you tell us a bit more about the Chain Guardians boutique that kind of comes off the back of this idea as well?
Yeah, so Chain Guardians has always kind of been involved in fashion. We're an entertainment company, right? We make games, we make media, we do different fashion designs as well. So Guardians Boutique is kind of the beginning of our online presence for our digital collections. So originally it was where you could go ahead and claim your New York Fashion Week kind of NFT that I just talked about. Whilst it was also the home of our we did a grant, a sort of Web3 fashion grant, where we put up $1 million to say, hey, if you're a budding designer and you want to get in Web3, come visit Guardians Boutique and do your application there. So it's kind of like the home of our future digital collections, which John is leading up for us.
That sounds awesome. And apparently, you got to be able to actually roll out some of this stuff at the Phygital Meta Streetwear Collection, and in terms of that, being able to roll some of that out at New York Fashion Week and Token 2049. So, tell us how that went. How was it? What was the reception like at New York Fashion Week?
Well, I can speak for myself only here, but it was quite spectacular to kind of take this collection that we created in the team, take it to New York Fashion Week, the top of the World Trade Center, with those panoramic views, getting up there and putting it out there into the world was insane, right? But the kind of impact that it had was also quite good, for us. So particularly with New York Fashion Weeks, we also kind of took it to Token 2049 in Singapore as well. But following New York Fashion Week, our collection was picked up by Forbes, Elle, Harper's Bazaar, Yahoo, and many more kind of publications out there, ultimately getting a global reach of around 100 million people. So yeah, we were really excited about that. That was really cool.
I think it's nice to see the excitement high around it, and it's almost nice to see how the Web 2 world of fashion is looking towards Web 3 in the future. The fact that even a Web 3 fashion brand is one of the biggest events in fashion all year round, that must be a massive thing, no? Must be a big step.
Yeah, of course, exactly. I don't know if John wants to add to that.
Well, there'll be opportunity for him to add to it now with the next question. So, what's the kind of concept of Phygital Meta Streetwear as a collection and how it kind of blends the whole Web 2 stuff in terms of just physical fashion and everyday clothes, and how it kind of blends that into the world of like Web 3, because even now we're seeing, as we were saying before, the Web 2 fashion industry taking in Web 3 fashion and adopting, not necessarily fighting against it, but adopting it. And how does that all come in together, John?
I think it really comes down to, oh, do you hear me okay? All right, so I think,
I can hear you. I can hear you.
okay, good. I think it all comes down to, onboarding Web2 users and making it accessible for a variety of people. Because it's, as many of us know, one of the biggest problems is what is this scary big metaverse or blockchain or crypto that people hear about, and Phygital, what kind of word is that? And I think this collection we were really aiming at onboarding new people and bridging the gap between fashion and this new space that is emerging through more simplified gaming platforms and metaverses. But it is essentially, we were helping people install Meta wallets or MetaMask so people could access their NFTs. And I think there's a big, it's something valuable having a physical item. And but I think the ability to own it digitally as well is something that a lot of people are interested in. And bridging that gap of understanding that it doesn't need to be so complicated. This is really, really something that we were aiming to do with this Meta Streetwear collection.
I think in the element of just simplifying it for people, I think this collection does that really well, doesn't it? It just brings it into a language that they already understand. We're just adding in a new element slowly over time.
Exactly. I think the more that people are getting used to it, and it's a big thing comparing Asia to North America and Europe even, how much tech like AR technology are like just going to buy a t-shirt at the store, how much is already getting integrated, or looking at Tiffany where you can just scan the QR code to try on the ring. It is something that's going to start blending more and more. And I think we were just trying to show what's out there and how we can also, how the two worlds are blending, gaming and fashion. They go sort of hand in hand, and simplifying it. Yeah.
Well, in terms of more introducing the Web3 fashion world to the masses, I've heard you've been doing a really good job with a podcast that you started called What the Phygital. So where did this idea come about? And that is a brilliant name, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah, we were.
Great play on words. I love it.
We were.
So where did the idea come from?
So we, like I was mentioning earlier, and we're talking about, there is a big education gap. As soon as you start talking about DeFi and blockchain and crypto, there's a lot of information and a lot of things that people need to learn to even grasp part of it. So we were trying to come up with a way that we could really simplify it. Having a conversation with a 7-year-old or having a conversation with an 80-year-old who knows nothing about it, or parents and so on. Can we bring these people in the Web3 fashion, digital fashion, or even Web2 brands on and talk about something common and something that they find exciting, that is maybe as a concept complicated to some people, but in reality is quite simple. We have a physical and we have a digital, and we can blend the two worlds. So in the podcast, we try to educate people, but we also try to have a lot of fun.
I think even then the title and the overall feel of the podcast, it really does get that across, where it's like, yes, we're trying to teach you this very complicated thing, but we're going to make you laugh for quite a few times within the space of like 30 minutes or so.
I think, something that I find really interesting, and the more I've gotten into Web3 and different companies and projects and stuff, is that we're really interested in the people behind it. Of course, you want to believe in the project and the product or what they're aiming to create, but essentially we're all human beings. We're interested in the people behind it, hearing their stories. What made you think of this crazy idea that now a bunch of people believe in. So I think community is a big thing for us, and we really want to create our own community with this podcast, but also let different communities have a chance to meet each other and talk about something new and exciting.
All right. So, in terms of moving into what that means for any future plans that you have, so can you share any kind of future developments planned for ChainGuardians, especially in regards to the Phygital collection? So, you've already rolled out at New York Fashion Week. What's kind of the next big step for ChainGuardians from here then?
Dan, feel free to jump in on this, but I think it'd be amazing eventually. Perhaps we had done some great projects in the past, for example, DevX Watch that would eventually grant you some so one based on one of the superheroes. So we want to perhaps do something similar where we can bring a physical item to life, a a t-shirt, a watch perhaps, or a wristband that might give you some abilities in game. So breaching the idea that this is only a skin or something for a game, but perhaps it can also be something outside of the game. We have some interesting projects that we're talking about, and hopefully we can bring some more of that to life. I guess the latest digital project that we have is the Utah campaign, where there's a gift box coming out to a select few for the NFT release. Because one of the superpowers of this superhero is the ability to sing. So we have a limited edition vinyl actually pressed that comes in a gift box with a Phygital t-shirt that we hope the community will appreciate.
The vinyl idea sounds really cool, especially since vinyls now are quite a collector's item, even generally in the music industry. It's just a quite novelty collector's item.
Yeah, exactly. It's something. It's the chance to create a very special and unique collector's item, but also the ability to airdrop the music to those people who receive this gift box, and then release part of this. Because we actually have a ChainGuardians album that was written for us by Pelike and Estelle Fly.
That's interesting. Whole album. That'd be really interesting coming down the line. I'd really like to see how that idea kind of builds out. So, in terms of the digital aspect of ChainGuardians, do you kind of look at future trends of NFT and blockchain gamings as like a space as a whole? And how do you feel like what you're doing already lines up with what is going on in the space? Or are you kind of trying to be brave and kind of create a trend of your own and get everyone else to follow you? Which way round are we working?
Yeah. I think there's a combination of both. We want to stay up to date with the trends that we're seeing, but we also want to be leading the way and leading the space forward of what's possible, because we have been around for quite some time. Some of our Phygital products are from already 2018, I think. So I think what we will see more of, I will say, in the Phygital space are perhaps small microbursts. I think this is a really interesting concept that I'm seeing a lot of fashion brands are going after. And obviously we have the tech and the ability to do this. So I think this is perhaps something we will see more of.
Can you expand a little bit more on the idea of a microverse, just for everyone who isn't clued
So
up?
imagine that you have your sneaker collection. So you have your bedroom, and this would be a small little living room or a bedroom where you could potentially buy items. You could try on the shoes, look at them, put them on your phone and try it as an air filter, or you can just walk around in your bedroom. That's sort of, I think that describes a microverse pretty well, like a limited space. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. It's quite literally a metaverse, but smaller.
Yeah.
Quite literally. But it's in a space where you can make it feel more personal in a way. So even like the example of a bedroom, instead of it literally being this one room in this big world, the world is room itself, which has an intimate feel to it. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. So in terms of how this can translate to your community in itself and your journey so far in order to build the community you created, to like, how is the dedication of the Chain Guardians community really reflected in the NFT market, either for yourselves or looking at how maybe other projects around you kind of seen that maybe it's kind of lacking the idea that they haven't really built communities first, so they struggle in the market. How's that been feeling for you? Question for both of you, actually.
I'll take it first, and then John, you can continue. Yeah, it's an interesting question, right? Look, the NFT market is a strange one, and success sometimes seems to follow the market conditions themselves. So, but Chain Guardians, we're a different beast. We don't kind of want to be held ransom by the market, as we kind of we believe in this technology, we believe in decentralization, we believe in creating unique immersive experiences with ownership, very much stuff around Phygital that John was talking about. So that's actually why I think that our community is kind of super dedicated to what we're doing, because we are continuing to build and grow a library of experiences, offerings, different kind of media experiences. Even when kind of the market is pulling in different directions, we're kind of here still innovating, kind of no matter what, right? So we kind of don't look at the market and say, we need to do this. We just think, like, how can we do the coolest thing for our community generally? And that's actually reflected then in our most recent NFT sale, which John referred to, the Nakano Uta Guardian, which was added to our library of games in the last couple of months. That sold out completely in arguably the very tough market conditions. So we've got a very dedicated fan base, and actually we spend a lot of our time with them as well. So when we're thinking about where do we spend our time as a team, we're constantly listening, trying to reflect on feedback. One of the biggest, I guess, we did a recent survey actually, and one of the biggest things that come out of it is that our community is like one of the best places in Web3, and this is something that we take very seriously. That's because we're all there in the Discord every day, listen to feedback and try to act on it as much as we can.
I think that's a very good point to round it out and hand over to your community itself. So if anyone has any questions, or even some questions from some of the specialists in here, being Dr. Demon, who's gladly joined us, if anyone has any questions for John and Dan, now would be a good time. Well, if there are no questions at this time, I will give the floor back to John and Dan. And basically, if there's anything you'd like to add or share or say to the community at this time, the floor is yours.
Maybe just worth adding that if people want to get involved with Chain Guardians, and if John wants to add anything afterwards, go ahead, John. But if people are looking to get involved with Chain Guardians at this time, Chain Guardians flagship product at the moment is our RPG game. So you can come and play that. It's a turn-based RPG where you use the NFT blockchain superheroes to create your team and play. And you can currently take part in our first ever tournament called the Chain Gauntlet. So you can play in that. You can start earning rewards. So there's on-chain rewards for the more you play, the higher you finish the leaderboard. It's lots of fun, and it's one of our big recent developments. Secondly, we've also got quite another cool thing going on with one of our other games called ChainGuardians. There's so much stuff. This is our FPS first-person shooter game, and actually we've got this campaign called the Awasi Mint. So if you go to chainguardians.io, you'll see what I mean. You can mint this cute little Pokemon-style character, and you can evolve it by playing Chain Guardians. So kind of you mint the character, you play Chain Guardians, evolve it into the next version. The reason I'm bringing that up is because it's been minted 100,000 times so far. It was featured in Famitsu, which is the largest gaming publication in Famitsu. So it's quite a big deal. It's really cool. Go mint Oasi for free. Try it out. If not, go play the ChainGuardians tournament. Try that out as well.
Well, in that case, I'm going to end it there on that great note from Dan. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. As they've said, please look into everything that ChainGuardians is doing with the lore of its main game, as well as ChainGuardians being one of its side games in terms of its first-person shooter. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.